before I left, I asked, how do you get that chip back on your shoulder? How do you get that drive, right?
Yep.
I saw a movie about a documentary about Diane Warren. Now, you may or may not know her name, but you definitely know her work. She is a songwriter. She has written probably more top 10 songs than anyone else.
Is that right?
Yeah, Rhythm of the. I'm just going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just mention a smattering so we can all kind of be on the same page. Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge.
Yeah.
Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship. If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher.
Huge.
When I See You Smile, Bad English. Because You Love Me from Celine Dion. Unbreak My Heart, Toni Braxton. Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing was not written by Aerosmith. It was written by her. Right. And this is like, I'm not even scratching the surface.
That's cool.
Okay. The name of the movie is Diane Warren, Relentless. This woman is truly relentless. Like, she has been writing songs since she was like 12. She knew this is what she wanted to do. Her parents were split on this. Her dad was super like loving and supportive, and her mom was like, when are you going to give up on that songwriting thing so that you can become a secretary?
Nice.
Not just get a job.
That's where the future is.
Yeah, that's where the future is. Exactly. And she has worn that chip on her shoulder throughout her life. Her song catalog is estimated to be worth about $500 million. I
love it.
Somebody
Does she own it?
She does. That's the thing. Right. So she was signed to a publishing contract early on. Like she, like most songwriters, she went and beat down the doors of everybody, and she was in Los Angeles, so she beat down the doors. But she knew she wanted to be a songwriter. Like, she would look at albums as a kid, and it would say, the name of the artist, the name of the song, and then below that in parentheses was, the very small print, the name of the songwriter. That's how 45s would be or whatever.
Yes.
She knew, I want to be that. I can do that. She's not a great singer. She doesn't have a good sense of time or anything, but she knows how to write songs. She knows how to play guitar and piano or whatever.
That's awesome.
She's like, I can do that. She would go to parties as a kid, like in high school. She would bring her guitar with her. Her friends would be like hanging out, drinking illicitly or whatever, and like doing drugs or whatever. Sure. She would sit in the bathroom, in the bathtub, because she liked the acoustics of the room and just work on songs. Driven.
That's
very
awesome.
Driven. Got a publishing contract. This publishing contract was not in her favor.
Of course.
90% went to the other folks. Right. So she only kept 10. About 3 years into this 5-year deal, maybe less, she was being published and huge, and so all these people are coming to her and being like, we want to publish you instead. And she's like, well, I have this contract. And so she went and told the guy, I'm leaving the contract. And he's like, well, I'm going to sue you. She's like, but I've made you a ton of money already. Like, you are set for life. F you. Yeah. And the guy's like, that sounds great, but paper says what it says. I'm going to sue you. Yeah. And so what that meant, though, was that no one else could sign her. Otherwise, they would immediately become a party to the lawsuit. Yeah. Nobody wants to do that. Although it probably would have been a good business decision financially in the long run. So she couldn't get another publisher. And finally, somebody said to her, well, if you publish yourself, there's no other party to the lawsuit. It's still just you. She's like,
great
right.
way to look at it. People
know who I am. Fine. Screw it. I'll do that. They did wind up settling the lawsuit. I'm sure she paid this guy a fortune for nothing. Although, she signed the deal. It's how it works. I'm not saying that you should
got to start.
You got to start. Right. And so she owns everything. She is her own publishing company. And people have asked her, like, you should, or suggested you should sell your catalog. And there's a good reason. There's a reason why artists sell their catalogs, right? Because as a songwriter, right, you get your royalties every year. But those are treated as normal income.
Oh,
so
not capital gains.
Not capital gains, because very it's just income. So if you can get, and people know, like, you can look at a song like, like the Celine Dion song, right? Yeah. Or the Cher song, Turn Back Time. Like, that song's going to make money for a long time. So your multiple, if you were to sell it, is probably somewhere between 10 and 30x, right? Because The rights are protected for, I don't know how old, off the top of my head, I can't do the math, but they're protected for like 50 years. So it's not going to be a 2 or 3x deal. You're going to get a ton of money, and it's all capital gains. And you get it all up front.
That makes sense because I read about these artists like Stevie Nicks selling hers.
Yeah, Springsteen sold his
or whatever. And that totally makes sense because it's just such a better tax vehicle.
It's a better tax vehicle. But she was like, they're my songs. Why would I want to sell them?
Yeah.
So, but she is to this day, like still just going and writing songs. I mean, she owns this huge catalog. Sort of. Like watching this made me, in my head, I thought, be careful what you wish for, Dave, because like her entire life is nothing but writing songs. Now, it was acknowledged in the movie. I don't know if she's officially diagnosed or not, but she's definitely somewhere in the Asperger's spectrum. She talked about it. Other people talked about it. She lives alone with her cat. She has no interest in a family of any kind, or even like having they talked to a guy who was probably her boyfriend for like 6 years. Like she would sort of acknowledge this. He would sort of acknowledge it. But it's argued that she has never been in love. Right. Like, so she's a different kind of human, and that's obviously okay. But it's like, all right, if that's what it takes to always have the chip on your shoulder, I want more of a balance than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it that way. I think that chip is that gives you the power to just start over.
Not
to just drive yourself to the exclusion of all the other awesome things we talk about living a charmed life here all the time.
Yes.
You're looking for the whole package.
Yep.
Business success, collaboration like Dave and I have had for 20 years.
Yeah.
Great friends, wonderful spouse, family, kids. That's what we're all looking for.
That's the charmed life.
Maybe not her,
she has a financially charmed life. And actually, if you were to ask her,
she's probably very happy, right?
She's extremely happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's right.
Cool. Good for her.
Right. For her. And it is good for her.
Yes.
Her life would not be good for me, although I wouldn't mind having control of a song catalog that's worth $500 million.
I would take that too.